Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Karl, the CEO of Revolancer. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Very nice to see you. Please tell us, what is Revolancer?
Sure. So Revolancer is a freelancing platform that I started about 2 years ago. And our goal is to give freedom back to freelancers and to bring this industry into the 21st century.
What is the biggest problem that you're trying to solve?
Well, freelancers struggle finding clients. Freelancers struggle serving clients currently. And the platforms that are out there really aren't helping, especially in a post-pandemic kind of world of remote work. So we aim to solve those problems and basically make it easier for freelancers to connect with clients. We don't charge any commission fees, so they keep all the money that they charge to clients, and we let them communicate freely, so video calling, which other platforms don't allow.
Mm-hmm. And can you walk us through the process? So how does it work, more exactly?
Sure. So freelancers sign up, they list their services and kind of create their profile. Then buyers come to the website, they post a project, so that could be, someone looking for a logo design or a website. And then freelancers can bid on that and send proposals. And then clients can browse the website and find the right freelancer and then hire them and have them deliver their project.
Awesome. What are your top 3 features?
Top 3 features. Well, I mean, I'd say number one is one we launched recently, which is Plus Pages. And that's a mini website that freelancers can set up, kind of like an alternative to Linktree. And you have plus.page/your name. And you can link to other places, but also show off your portfolio and kind of an about me. So I'd say that's feature number one. That's been very popular since we launched it at the end of last year. Definitely a very big feature is that we don't charge commission fees because it's quite standard in the industry for platforms to charge more than 20% of the transaction, which scales in such an ugly way because let's say you make $50,000 in a year from freelancing. You only actually make $40,000 because $10,000 goes to the platform. So I don't really think that's acceptable in the modern day.
Yeah.
And then finally, we let people talk outside of the platform, which again, other platforms don't allow because they want to take their cut of the transaction and they want to enforce that.
Yeah, so you're trying to be a free and liberal alternative that enjoys the freedom of the freelancers and don't restrict them to any platform. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So, and that way we attract the best talent and ultimately buyers are looking for the best freelancers. So if we attract the best freelancers and make their life as easy as possible, then clients get the best experience too.
Awesome. Is there any pricing to Revolancer?
It's free to join as a freelancer, but you can upgrade to Revolancer Plus for a small fee on a monthly basis. And you can, with that, you can connect with more clients. You can kind of send more bids. And there are a couple of other premium features that you get with that. But you don't have to activate Plus. You can continue for free. And then for the client side, it's currently completely free. So clients won't be charged in any way unless they are paying a freelancer directly.
That's great. And can you share with us some successful use cases?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have more than 15,000 freelancers on the platform today, many of whom secure regular work from the platform, which has been really fantastic to see. We get a lot of very positive feedback from our users around that they don't need to pay commission fees. They can have relationships with their clients outside of the platform as well. So that's been absolutely fantastic. I'd say quite notably, someone who's quite big in the industry, Alexandra Fasulo, we've worked with her a couple of times and she has said that Revolancer, being a zero commissions freelancing platform is very refreshing. And she got started on Fiverr. She's known as the Fiverr millionaire. She made a lot of money on there. But now she has joined Revolancer and she has a Plus page and she has a Revolancer account and has said some very nice things about us. So yeah, very, very pleased with the feedback we're getting.
That's awesome. Happy for you. How do you plan to differentiate in this competitive market?
Well, I mean, a very big part of it, for now is absolutely around not charging commissions and then letting people video call, for example. Because let's say you want to hire someone to build your website, you want to pay, let's say, $2,000. Yep. The first thing you'll probably do, I mean, maybe you'll email back and forth a bit, but at some point you'll probably want to hop on a video call just to, talk to them and just make sure they understand what you want properly. And they'll probably want a video call with you too, even if you don't want a video call with them. They'll want a call to kind of walk through things, share screen, and make sure that, your expectations are realistic based on what they're going to deliver. And on current freelancing platforms, you just can't do that. And the reason is because they want to take 20% of your transaction, but if someone can just video call, they can arrange to communicate outside of the platform easily. So I could say, just email me directly. And then, I can just say, oh, just invoice me directly. And then, the platform doesn't get that cut. So we're changing the business model completely, where people pay a monthly fee to kind of connect with more clients. But then once they connect with clients, we don't try and get in the way of that.
It's surprising to me that this way of thinking from the platform side resisted that much, because in a way you're trying to manipulate them and make them stay in a place, and no freedom, Hope you'll disturb the market. Yeah.
Thank you.
When did you start the company, and how did you come up with the idea?
Well, I actually started freelancing at the age of 14, and I ran into many of these issues back then. And now many years later, so nearly 10 years later at this point, I was in my final year of university. We were in a COVID lockdown, so video calling was now, very front and center, an essential part of remote work. And I was looking back at freelancing platforms that I had freelanced on many years before, which even back in 2014, 2015, I thought were completely outdated and are doing things wrong. They hadn't changed anything. They were still doing exactly the same thing. So I thought, I need to do something about this. So that's when I decided to start Revolancer, which was actually in January of 2021. So 2 years ago at this point.
Great. And how many team members are there now?
So we're a team of 7 at the moment, but we're hiring for a few different positions. So it'll be probably a team of 15 by March or April.
Mm-hmm. And have you raised any funds?
Yes. So we've raised about 300,000 pounds sterling in investor funding over a couple of different funding rounds since the beginning.
And what would you say was your biggest challenge founding the company?
I'd say, there have been many challenges. So many things I did for the first time, such as I had no idea how to raise investment or how to speak to investors, how to handle any of the legals around that, or employing people. So many different things. So I can't really point to one specific thing as kind of the biggest challenge. But, I would say that it's important to realize that you don't need to have all of the answers up front. You'll never have all the answers up front. But the way that you get the answers is by doing. So, deciding, okay, I want to start a company that achieves X, Y, and Z. What's step 1? How do I figure out how to do step 1? And then what's step 2? But whereas I think many people will kind of just be paralyzed by the different challenges they think they'll have to overcome, and then they don't have the answers up front, so they think they don't have enough experience, and then they never actually try starting a company, which I think is a terrible shame.
What has been the best growth tactic for gaining customers?
Well, it's quite cliche, but ultimately it comes down to building a platform that your users really love. So it's talking to your target audience, talking to the people on the platform and listening to them, kind of presenting a new feature to them. But if they say, I don't like that, I'm not going to use that, don't press ahead with that. Don't get too attached to what you want to build, because ultimately you are serving your audience, you're serving your target customers. So by speaking to them and then building a platform that really suits their needs, they will talk about it, and they will refer other people to the platform. So I'd say that's the number one thing to focus on. Of course, there are other things you can do to accelerate that, like you can run ads and partner with influencers and do various other things to just pump the numbers up. But ultimately, at the core, what you should focus on is to build a product that people love so much that they will tell others about it.
Absolutely. What's your vision and future plans with Revolancer?
Well, it's to completely disrupt this industry. That's what I wanted to do from the beginning, just change this industry for the better. So whether that's, we become a dominant player, whether a current large player acquires us and then sort of, adopts our strategies more, or whether they just go ahead and copy us and we sort of pivot into something else. But, we've still kind of created that change for the better in the industry. Whichever one of those it is, as long as we change this industry for the better, I'll be satisfied with that.
That's a great thinking. Awesome. I'd love to hear your backstory before starting Revolancer. So, how did you start your career? I already know that you started freelancing at 14, but maybe we can dive deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was, I think, around 13, I decided that I wanted to make some money online. So I did many different things. I tried freelancing. I built various different websites. I tried drop shipping. I tried selling things on eBay. I tried basically anything and everything under the sun. Most of it failed very badly. But it was all a really good learning experience, because now I can tell you about, drop shipping and what works and what doesn't work to some degree, a little degree, because I have actually tried it. Same thing with selling things on eBay. Same thing with building all kinds of different websites. So I kind of did that growing up. I started my first, I would say, more serious business when I was around 18. Before that, I had started a kind of a freelancing marketplace, actually, which I sold when I was 15. But unfortunately, I was too young to have a PayPal account, so I couldn't run that for as long as I wanted to, even though it had about 2,000 users or so at the time that I sold it. But, I started a web and marketing agency, had an office on my high street at the age of 18. Then I went to university. I studied AI and robotics, not because I wanted to get a job, but just because I thought that a background, and some education in that area would help me a lot with the kind of businesses that I wanted to start in the future. And then halfway through my final year, I started Revolancer, and that's what I've been doing now for the past 2 years.
Do you think that the university helped you achieve this now that you're here?
Yes, I do. I think the content of the course, not really so much, but certainly the connections that I made at university. So I connected with my co-founder there. The university supported us in funding a few interns that worked with the company. They did a great amount of press. I got my initial seed funding from a startup competition that I won at my university. So all of those opportunities obviously came from being at that university. But the contents of the course, no, I wouldn't say have helped me a particular amount. So I'd say, I could have probably facilitated the same kinds of opportunities without going to university as well. So I wouldn't say that it's an essential thing if you're looking to start a business.
Okay. And what's your best piece of advice for starting founders? Young founders that want to get started?
Yeah. I'd say, honestly, it comes down to that the best way to succeed in business is to be in business, which means, there's no point kind of sitting there and thinking for a long time about what could work or couldn't work. Just start trying things, be prepared to fail. Failure is not a bad thing if you use it as a learning experience. And just kind of keep trying things. Most of the things won't work, but some things will work, and you learn a lot from the things that don't work. And then moving forward, a higher percentage of what you do will actually start succeeding, and you'll learn so much, and then be in such a good position to build a fantastic business. But you need to have a few failures in the way first. I once heard that the average millionaire makes it as it is on their 12th attempt. So, keep that in mind, that it might take you many times to get there. But enjoy the journey, learn along the way, and then eventually you'll get there.
Thank you for this piece of advice. I have one last question. What's your favorite software that you use daily?
Favorite software? Probably Google Calendar. It's such a cliche answer maybe, but I use Google Calendar for everything. So obviously meetings, but also tasks and reminders. I just put everything in there. I've tried writing things down. I don't look at it. I've tried putting it in a different place. Again, I don't look at it, but having everything in one place on Google Calendar has been very useful for me.
I've been waiting for a while for someone to say this answer, because Google Calendar is great, and I enjoy it too. It helps a lot. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to tell us today on the podcast?
Well, I'd say, just to add to the kind of the question just before your previous one, I'd say if someone is looking to start a business, definitely go for it, because it's the things that we don't do that we regret the most. And you don't want to kind of look back in 20, 30, 40, 50 years and kind of think, oh, I would have liked to do that, but I didn't because of X, Y, and Z. And especially if you're young, you don't have that many responsibilities yet. That's absolutely the time to try it. Because then you can afford to kind of work longer for free or for a lower rate to kind of make something happen. You don't have people relying on you yet. So that's really the time to experiment with it. So yeah, I'd say if you have a curiosity about it, you think it might be for you, definitely try and find out.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing all this.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.